Hey guys, this is Ben Sarazak here. I would just like to take the time before this video starts to introduce my gaming channel, Gamecast Idiots. There will be a link to it down in the description box below. I have gaming, pranks, food challenges, and much more. So without further ado, please enjoy this video and I hope to hear from you soon.
Alright. Hello. I'm in my basement this time. And the reason for that is because in the first video, I realized that I was very uncomfortable. At least here I'll be, you know, it'll just be a lot more comfortable. So this is London. My sister has studied abroad there. Alright. So, this is, I don't know where to begin actually. This is gonna be, okay, so this is gonna be part 2 of the very creepy and unsettling phone call journey. And the reason why this is part 2 is because it's a continuation of the first one. And by the way, if you like want to see more of this, then let me know. There will definitely be a part 3 because I was asked to come back to visit the other video and do a follow-up video. And I know from after doing all this research that there needs to be a part 3 because I am so into this now and I'm so not ready to just leave it out of, you know, not finish it in this video. So without further ado, let's get started. So if you haven't seen part 1, that will be I'll put a link down in the description to that video. So don't watch this unless you've watched part 1, otherwise you won't have any clue what I'm talking about. So anyway, so to start things off, I want to go back to the first phone number that was called, and that was the, I have my notes up right here. Took notes as I was researching. I want to go back to the 303-309-0004 number, which is a Colorado number. Blaze it. I'm in Delaware. It's boring as hell. Alright. So the thing about if you were to type in just the number 303, let's get this up. If you were to type in that whole number into Google, a lot of links would pop up. A few videos of people, oh, I'm calling this number, and other ones more obvious are like, oh, government conspiracy, USA secret number agent. And you know what? Those are fine because I mean, for this research, that is what I'm going to get into. So from what I read online, the 303 number went down, and as a result, people think it's supposed to be a secret government line. And there's a backup number that I never knew about. It's 202-999-3335. So before we do anything, I was also told after my video was uploaded that the 303 number was not working. So I have my phone, I'll put it on speaker, and I'll call it, and I will put it on speaker. So it still works, and it still plays the music like always, and it'll still do that creepy thing where it'll just tell you today's date. I think this might be different music though. So I'm just moving it. it said September 10th, 2016. Hold on one second. If this is true, what I think is true, I'm gonna be really creeped out. Let me, oh my god, hold on a second. September 10th, 2016. Today's date is November 26th, 2016. Oh my god, that's creepy as fuck. Excuse my language. The reason why it said September 10th, 2016, even though today is November 26th, 2016, is because I think it logs the numbers that call it, that calls it, and it remembers the day that you called it. So every time you call back to that number, you call that number back, it tells you the date of the time you first called that. That's creepy. So apparently so from that I can gather that it has a built-in software where it stores data, and what I mean by data is that it remembers the first time a number calls it, and then after that it relays that date back to that person instead of giving him. That's weird. Okay, well now we know that. I just want to go back. This number I'm about to call, it was in the first video as well, and the reason why, and I don't think it has anything to do with what I'm about to go into, but I just want to call it, you know what, I'll call it at the end of the video. Alright, so people, there are rumors going around on the internet, that number I just called is down, and that the backup number is 202-999-3335. And if that's the backup number for the 303 number that I just called, I'm gonna call that number right now. So we got 202-999-3335. Put it on speaker for you. By the way, I haven't called this number yet. It's first time for all of us.
In the 1970s, Entonon was well on its way to becoming an industrial superpower. From shortwave radio to Schroeder automatic toll ticketing equipment, business was booming. But where did it all go? Right back where it came from. The young doctor never forgot his roots and helped change the State Department for the better.
Alright, that was unexpected. I'm not sure how that would be a backup number. I feel like that message was made to throw people off, but it's not throwing me off. I feel like that's a cover-up for something. Alright, so I'm about to read you facts, or not facts, but theories, or facts that lead to theories, based on the 303 number. The 303 number this number existed before the events of 9/11, and the reason why I bring up the events of 9/11 is because of this. Okay, so before 9/11, if you were to call that 303 number, and when I say before, I mean like directly before, it said that it came up with a message that said condition red, situation, or no, it just said condition red, that's it. After 9/11, it said condition orange, it said it twice. Situation delta is in effect. And after that, it asks for an agent code, and then it reconnects to a male voice that says numbers randomly for 7 solid minutes. Alright, so right there is where I'm stumped, because it's either a really elaborate hoax, or it's something much more sinister, or not sinister, but I don't know how to describe it. Anyway, so there was research done on this, and a group came up, and it was a group who had a project called Project Evil, which, I mean, come on, really? Like, really? Alright, so I can't even say that. So Project Evil created very similar numbers to test online cryptographics. And cryptographics is basically the study of technology for secure communications, meaning, how do I put this easily? It means basically well, I mean, it's not that hard to understand. Well, we're already at 9 minutes. So Project Evil wrote, it all started after the May 2006 talk at LA 2600. Datagram spoke about the history of shortwave number stations. Number stations are actually used by the government, were used as early as the 40s, and are still in use today. Number stations are basically secure private networks for people in doing like undercover work. And I'm not making that up. I didn't read that online. I know that as a fact about our government, and our government, all governments do that. It's for security purposes. Anyway, so blah 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 blah. Shortwave number station. Afterwards, we all drifted outside, and the conversation drifted to asterisk and VoIP. VoIP is. Hold on a second. One second. VoIP. Sorry about that. I messed up my recording somehow. VoIP is basically voice over internet protocol, and it's a category of hardware that enables people to use the internet as transmission medium for telephone calls by sending voice data in packets using IP addresses rather than traditional phone line circuits. Meaning it's different from if you were to pick up a house phone and call your auntie and wish her a happy birthday or whatever. That scared the crap out of me. Sorry about that. So the sequence of numbers once decrypted are coordinates. And this is nothing different from what we saw in the last video. Coordinates leading to drop points, if you remember from the first video. One of these, somebody went to one of these locations, and they found it was a library drop box that contained a book and CD inside. The CD inside contained encrypted text files. Okay. So with those encrypted text files were even more coordinates. And so I'm going to back up a little bit. If somebody were to call the 303 number, like I said before, and as I'm sure I said in this video, it asks for an agent number. And people, of course, some people, including me, pressed random numbers. And with this, sometimes it would respond with 2-digit numbers, which translated into words like troop, agent, supply. Like, I'm not saying these words as a sentence, I'm saying them one by one, so they don't have any relation to each other as a sentence. So that it said words like troop, agent, supply, ship, and aircraft. And they were located, and these calls, or no, this signal was found to be located in mainland USA. Later, however, when called, the numbers received gave coordinates for an apparent convoy of ships in the Bering Strait heading north. Not long after, the numbers included coordinates for 2 MiG bogies, which are fighter jets America used to use, heading from the area of, I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce that, Russia, someplace in Russia. They appeared to rendezvous with the ships shortly after. So it's basically, and it came with this whole thing of like this report, I guess you would call it, about what was happening with apparently 2 fighter jets rendezvousing with a ship, and then so and so and so and so. I won't get into specifics because it's like this long report. And basically, there was, after that report came a satellite image of I think it was Russia. So I don't know if this is a hoax as much as it is something actually real. one agent number gave a location of Oswego Library, the number of a page in a book about first ladies, and a date for it to be picked up by. 2 investigators went to the library and found a CD in the book. The CD contained contained very large files of encoded text which have been used to decode NATO phonetic alphabet messages sent over the phone. And that's where it supposedly the investigation comes to a stop. Excuse me, I have the hiccups. So from what I can gather, in my opinion, I don't think this number is a hoax. The 303 number. What I think it is, I don't think it was ever meant to be found. Because if you were to call these numbers before 9/11, it would say condition red. If you were to call the number after 9/11, it said condition orange twice. Then it said situation delta is in effect. I'm not sure what that means, and I'm not gonna go all government conspiracy on everybody, because that's not what this video is about. After 9/11, it said condition orange. Project Evil is thought to have a part in this, creating this number, because from what I read, they are basically a group called Project Evil who studies secure communications. And then if you were to call this number, it would, and press numbers when it asks for an agent number, it would give you two-digit numbers that translated into the words I talked about. And then when you call that number later, or basically this number changes from time to time when you call it, still to this day, according to somebody in my last video who said it didn't do anything when they called it. And then another time it was called, it gave coordinates for and this long message talking about 2 fighter jets rendezvousing with blah blah blah, doing blah 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 blah. And after that, a ship called Payload was reported having deployed after some agent numbers gave noise down the line, which was translated to an SSTV into satellite images of the North Pole. So it wasn't of Russia, it was of the North Pole. So that's pretty much it for part 2. If you like this and would like me to keep doing, I'm definitely going to do this, but if it's just a matter of time at this point. So